My dad was very creative. He designed things. His mind was going all the time, from machinery to gadgets. And I think I inherited a little bit of that from him.
Gio was my husband for 58 years. George was an inventor, a designer, a great husband, loved to be behind the wheel of the car, would go anywhere, anytime. He loved his faith, his friends, his family, and food. He knew what restaurant was where in all of Ontario, because I'm sure we ate at every one of them.
In 2014, I was really honored to be given the opportunity to become the Director of Hospice Services for Chatham-Kent Hospice. I was charged with the joy and the challenge to be able to pull people together from the community to design and build the Chatham-Kent Hospice. We had designed a beautiful reflecting pool and had imagined that as people passed and their families came together to say their goodbyes, and the staff and the volunteers would come and support that in a farewell ceremony, that we wanted to begin a tradition to put a candle in this reflecting pool and light it in that person's honor as they left the building. So one day I said to my dad, you know, Dad, I just imagine people maybe doing a header in that pool, trying to bend over and put a candle in. So I need something, a gadget, maybe like a selfie stick, something that can hold the candle and then release it into the pool. And by the next morning, I had AutoCAD drawings of a prototype. My dad had suffered off and on over the years with prostate cancer. As time went on, he became more and more ill. He had a hard time finishing making this gadget. Ironically, it was the last thing that he made. All the time I was working to build the hospice, I never really thought of the fact that I would need it myself or that my family would use the hospice. Unfortunately, just prior to Father's Day, my father suffered a stroke. And because his leg was paralyzed and his other one was unable to work, he had to come into the hospice where we had built overhead lifts and had medical equipment that he would need for his final weeks of life. So on Father's Day, I was able to move my father to the hospice, and little did I know that it was going to be the gift that I could give him for his last Father's Day.
I'll never forget the time when the last moment I spent with him, really, and just the comfortableness that he had, and just to see him look into my eyes and say that he loved me was a moment that I'll always cherish. So, and I don't think that would have happened if he wasn't in that place of comfort and a place of it was a holy place, really.
Hospice palliative care is really about living well while you're dying. So even if people only have a few weeks or a few months, how can we live every day? How can we celebrate every moment?
This past birthday, I decided to celebrate it with my dad because I knew it would be my last birthday with him. And it was wonderful because they hoisted him up into the wheelchair and wheeled him into the great room. We brought in food. My dad, of course, loves to eat, so he wanted strawberry shortcake, so we had strawberry shortcake. But just sitting around with some of the family and celebrating, my dad was just so happy, and beautiful pictures were taken and a big smile on his face, and it was just so special to have that last birthday with him.
He was not at the hospice for 24 hours when he said, you know what? I've come home and this is my launch pad. So it was easy to go there because then I was not the caregiver no more. I was his wife.